Welcome to Auto Trust. So what we got here was an engine that required replacement due to some of the common failures. Anyway, so in taking it apart, we got the old one out here on the bench already, on the floor, and we'll tear it apart a little later to get some more of the particular details in it. But this particular unit is pulled behind equipment, so it is exposed to a lot of dust, which was not good for this thing's environment. But this engine only had 200,000 kilometers on it. Now, looking at it, these things are built for way more than that. It's high quality engineering, but there's complications with lubrication and carbon buildup from leftover combustion. It's just a part of the picture with all of it. So, yeah, we'll get you some more details on that later. And now come over and look at the new engine. Yeah, when I say new engine, what I mean is we got a used one, a pretty good deal. I think it was only like 70,000 kilometers. So we just took it apart to have a look. We hooked up our starter so we could run a test with it, see what we get for oil pressure. As you can see, new oil filter. Always use a gold oil filter. And we got our oil pressure gauge hooked up so we can see what we're actually getting for oil pressure. But just come in here a little closer, and you can see how all the valve train is set up. The camshaft drives this one phaser, and then the other one is driven off this other chain. Pretty common setup that we see nowadays. And then notice how we got like no orange coloring here. This is all clean. And we start to get stain over here. This is simply carbon residue in the oil that from the combustion process that your engine is trying hard to take care of. Another key thing to note is, and what you don't necessarily see right here, is that this valve cover is where the fresh air comes in inside of this engine setup. It sucks fresh air in here, and so we come around to this other side here. Look at how brown this side is. This is where all the exhaust gases are evacuated out. So it's no surprise that one side is a lot darker than the other. But that just tells you about the kind of things that your engine has to absorb. This is why you've got to run high quality oil, high quality filters, and make sure you've got sufficient additive for the kind of longevity that you're using your engine for. So in just a couple moments here, we're going to fire this thing up with the starter. As you can see, we've got the starter hooked up, and run it over, see what we got. Okay. Now I will as you can see, we got good oil pressure. You take note of the oil that's coming out, lubricating each one of these rollers. Yep, spitting out all over, running on the floor. But anyway, what this also enabled us to do is do a running compression test on the thing before we installed it. And this one's got 180 psi of compression, so we know putting this thing in here, we're going to be good to go. So one of the other things to note right here is notice these mechanisms. This is the electronic variable camshaft control solenoids. These things work by hydraulically adjusting a phaser inside of here so that this camshaft is run at a different advance or retard degrees from what the crankshaft is. And that's what allows us to have such high performing engines nowadays. So it's really cool. But anyway, that's a wrap for this one.